and welcome to the first YouTube episode of Impact's Boulder Breakdown. So in this series we like to look at some different boulder problems, one different boulder problem for each video, and delve a little bit deeper into what it's like from a route setting point of view, some of the things that we have to take into account, some of the challenges and some aspects that it's really important to know about if you go on to try and set something similar in the future. Okay, so let's dive in. So the first video that we're going to be looking at for this week's episode is this boulder that was set by us, our Impact team, on a recent set at the Serious Climbing showroom up at Rock City in Hull. So it's all based around this kind of first sequence of moves and then a way this kind of swing across and foot plant to get out of it. So we'll just watch the full thing here, little tricky exit, and then we'll take a closer look at that first kind of crux section to see how to make it happen. So tricky finish here to match the last hold. The whole thing was probably about V5. Really hard to grade these kind of comp style boulders because they're really weird. They're not really comparable to anything that you get outside, so the grades are always quite subjective. So having a look here, from the start of the boulder, so the first thing you need to take into account is the starting position. So you can see as I match the hold here, it's going to be really important that in a comp scenario we would be taping start hands and feet here. So how we tape for a competition is we put one piece of tape on each of the starting holds and a limb has to touch each one of those holds basically. So in a comp environment we would have one there, and then we would have two here on this. So the climber can actually do that in any combination that they want. So they could go 2 feet on the start hold with 2 tags. In this case, the easiest way for the climber to pull on is with 2 hands touching that hold on the left with the 2 tags on it. So we're trying to force the climber into this position is the first step because we want them to dynamically move out of it. So to force this position, we really need to make sure that this distance between these 2 holds is longer than you can span between your arms. So if that was within an arm span, you'd be able to pull on, just holding both hands, touch the other hold with your foot for the start position, and you'd miss out the kind of complexity we're trying to force here. So that's the first key. By making those holds far enough apart that you can't span with your arms, you have to span between your foot and a hand, and then you reach over and touch to make that start position work with the taped hold. So moving on a little bit from here, you can see that now with this nice little cameo from Kalian on the left, which makes me laugh every time, you can see that the climber's forced to, at this point, they've brought their foot down, they're kind of barn-doing off a little bit, and they're forced to let go with this left hand to be able to reach. So play it on a little bit more, let go there to reach the right hand, and then you can really see clearly here that this is me climbing. I'm really having to come out of my centre of balance there, really leaning out from that line to be able to reach that hold. And by doing that, by making sure that the distance from the foothold down there to the handhold is far enough that you're really having to stretch out of balance, that's going to mean that you're going to force this toe hook on the other side. So in this case, we'll play it on a little bit and you see that the only way you're going to be able to stop the barn door is by catching that toe hook there on the left. So it's basically all about distances, the main thing being that you can't reach between your hands, and then the second most important thing probably is this foot here. So if that foot went a little bit too far right from where it is now, if it was over here, I'd be able to hold this right hand side pull just as a side pull, no toe hook needed, just as kind of like a layaway with my foot down low. So by having this foot quite far left, it's meaning that I'm having to reach out of my centre of balance, and that's what forces the toe hook. So one more time through that move in half speed. So the toe on to let the climber match. As we said, it will be tagged like that, so you'll have no choice. As you step out over to the right, you can see that you kind of fall away from the wall when you're forced to catch that toe. Really fun move, not too tricky, but like a really fun one to force that people can kind of work out. So moving on into this second section here, you can see that to reach, again if I go back a little bit, to reach this large slice thing here, I have to release this toe hook. So again, it's all about distances. if I could reach that toe hook comfortably, I could hold that and kind of slow down the motion. As you watch it here, you can kind of see that I kind of have to let it go and grab that handhold as I let the toe go. So what that does is it forces another dynamic movement. You can see here that I'm really being forced rightwards fast, and that is because of this, the angle here of this hold. So, not sure about that angle. So you can see there that that hold is really, it's almost a side pull basically. It's if that hold was horizontal, you'd be able to jump to it, swing around, you wouldn't need to plant a foot at all. If it was a total side pull, then you probably wouldn't be able to get enough weight down on it to generate the swing. So like a big flat hold are really good for these kind of forcing momentum moves because they really help you kind of generate swing. So these holds are perfect for that. These are from 360. Playing it on a little bit, or I'll go back a touch, and you can see that as I hit the big slice up high, you can really see that I'm kind of accelerated over towards this foot over here. There you go, accelerate it over and then hit that pretty fast, but it's a nice big comfortable foot. From there you go into some much more balancy climbing. So we talk about this quite a lot, the kind of mix of fast and slow. In competition style especially, you'll often find that people do something that's like coordination-y, fast movement, and then followed by like a really balancy finish like this. Thanks for watching our first Boulder Breakdown on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to catch more of what we're doing in the future, and also follow the link below to head over to our Instagram where we share loads of insight into route setting. If you want to do some route setting yourself, follow on the link below to have a look at our website and see some of the dates we have available for route setting courses. Alright, see you all soon.